Hello, Minecraftians, and welcome back to Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. It has been 1 week since I have talked to you all last. I hope you have all had a great week since that last time. Hopefully, you have all built some amazing things. As you all know, we have been in the Nether for an entire month now. This is our 4th Nether episode and Realm News' 27th episode altogether. Wow, time is just flying by, folks. Over 6 months since we have been on this journey together through now 2 dimensions in this great game of Minecraft. And we have just scratched the surface of this game. Well, today we have a short episode because I am recording this week on a week of an American holiday. And I am going to be out of town for a couple days and did not have time to shoot an hour-long episode as I usually do. Now, however, we have a great episode today where we will be discussing a block that makes up most of the Nether. I am talking about Netherrack. Netherrack requires its own episode because it is the primary block that makes up almost the entirety of the Nether itself. I will tell you its history and uses in today's episode. I will be explaining Greek fire to you today in the real segment because Netherrack does not ever burn out when lit on fire. Now, Greek fire was a mysterious, highly flammable substance that was nearly impossible to extinguish in ancient times. And of course, we will have our weekly poll. I am sure that you are already in the Nether waiting for me. Just hold on. I am jumping in that portal right now. I'll see you all there. It's poll time. Yes, it is poll time, folks. That part of the episode where I read off a poll, and I do this weekly. If you've been listening to the show, you all know this. And this week's poll is not related to Netherrack at all. I do this from time to time when I get a poll that is begging to be read. Now, I'll just jump right into it. I pose this question. Which of these 2 overworld chores do you prefer? Now, chopping wood or mining? This simple question had quite the turnout. A total of 74 people casted their vote on this question, which is a great outcome. Thank you, everyone who voted on that. I'd love to see a crowd show up for these polls. And it is a tough choice. I myself had voted for chopping wood because I like to be out upon the overworld and able to see the awesome landscape while I chop down trees. I feel too confined down in the ground relying on just torchlight. However, I must admit that I have just started to get more into exploring caves for mining purposes. I found an amazing lush cave biome that is massive. Now allow me to read the results off to this poll. I will start with the loser. The loser this week is chopping wood with 26 votes. Now that is not a bad amount, people. That is more votes than we have had on an entire poll before. But yes, more people favor mining than they do chopping down trees. However, I found out that some enjoy both equally. I have a comment from apprehensive_hat8986. They say, quote, Maine, they're the same picture and I find peace in both of them. Weirdly though, I'm loath to cut down forests and unless I must leave it, cutting a road or building something. I insist on replanting. While underground, however, I have no such concern about eviscerating the interior of a mountain or beneath the plains. I like sculpting underground and creating cool spaces, so I don't just turn it into a wasteland, but it's definitely not natural anymore, end quote. I thought that was a great comment. I am the same way for the most part when it comes to replanting trees. I will often replant the trees that I cut down. However, there are some places in my empire that I do indeed designate for deforestation. Most of the time it is because of a new settlement that I established and I want to make a large swath of land around it clear. so mobs cannot generate as easily and not sneak up upon you while entering or exiting the town. I do have an entire continent that is called Arbre Terre. It is a land that is dedicated to tree preservation in the new world of my realm. In French, arbre is tree, terre, land, so tree land, but I said that and called it that, named that in incorrect. It should be terre d'arbre, I believe, in French. Now moving on to underscore nameless underscore 21 underscore, who says, quote, "This is almost exactly my own mindset. My mindset, for whatever reason, refuses to let me do deforestation to collect wood. I have to grow the trees myself," end quote. That's another person who is just environmentally friendly on their overworld. They share the same sentiments with apprehensive underscore hat 8986. This individual goes a step further and plants their trees as opposed to cutting down trees and replanting them. This takes serious dedication. My hat off to you on your perseverance of preserving the overworld's natural environment, underscore nameless, underscore 21, underscore. And one more comment on the chopping wood people from Wave of Spring, quote, I only really mine for redstone and diamonds. I don't build with copper often. I have an iron farm. I have way too much lapis for one man to own. I rarely use gold, and I use lava for furnaces instead of coal. So wood is my main thing. Plus, it's fun to see a lush green plains biome after demolishing an entire jungle. Okay. Well, I do, end quote, sorry. Well, I do know about it being fun I don't know about being fun to see a jungle being deforested. And I love gold like a piglin and use it often for my rails. But I'm happy to see that you're using wood that you're cutting down for your own benefit. So thank you for that, Wave of Spring. Now moving on to this week's winner, who are the people who chose mining. Mining had 48 total votes, and that's a massive win by 22 votes. That's just amazing. I have already stated my reasons for not picking this. Let's hear from another Minecraftian who goes by Chase Animates, who says, quote, they're both something I enjoy, though I enjoy mining a bit more because you can do it longer, end quote. I'm starting to see that people like doing both of these. Chase Animates almost went with apprehensive underscore hat 8986, but chose mining because you can do that as long as you have pickaxes and torches. And I completely understand that. Most of the time I will mine at night and that will bleed into the day. I will just get lost in the process of mining, and mining offers many more resources than just wood. Hands down. Iron, gold, lapis lazuli, diamond, copper, and more is just waiting below your feet. So I can see why mining won this and why Chase Animates ultimately chose mining. Thank you for that comment, friend. Now moving on to Buffalo27, who says, quote, mining is about discovering. Chopping wood is just repetitive, end quote. Okay, valid point. I can see where they are coming from when they say this. As I just said, you do find a variety of items while mining and not while chopping wood. With that said, thank you, Buffalo27. Now moving on to Effective Scratch 7846 says, mining, or quote, mining, OFC, you get a large variety of loot. You're exploring a variety of environments, lots of potential structures. At the end, you smelt what you get and you stack it up in your vault as part of your wealth or into a shulker that's in your ender chest. Chopping wood, on the other hand, is just boring and repetitive. There's no real incentive, end quote. That's another person who feels that chopping wood is just plain boring and repetitive. But they are very correct in saying that mining builds up your wealth. I have 2 big banks in my empire that is filling up to the brim full of resources from mining. And I do love being able to smell what I have extracted and see the beautiful ingots as the end result. There you have it, folks. Chopping wood or mining. People have shown that they prefer mining over chopping wood. They love the resources that are available underground and the surprise of what is around the corner. That closes up poll time. Now we are going to venture into the real and learn all about Greek fire. Welcome back to The Real, my friends, for this week's segment linking the real world to the game of Minecraft. An obscure historical weapon is the subject for today's topic, Greek fire. Now, you are probably wondering why I chose Greek fire to link with Netherrack. Well, I chose it because of Netherrack's unique property, which is that once the top is lit on fire of this block, it does not go out, not even in rain. So the first thing this made me think of was Greek fire. It must have been some old memory of something I watched on the History Channel years ago that dislodged and came to the surface of my thinking. I don't know why Greek fire came out of the blue when I was thinking of something to link this to. Greek fire is also very hard to extinguish. In fact, water cannot even put it out, just like Netherrack. Not saying that Netherrack is Greek fire, not by any means. Now, moving on to Britannica.com, who has a good, brief article titled Greek Fire. Prior to the invention of Greek fire, the ancients had been playing with a variety of methods on how to deliver havoc utilizing combustibles, such as using something called naphtha or a type of crude oil. They were also using sulfur or saltpeter, if you remember that from the fireworks episode, which saltpeter was used to create fireworks, remember? We discussed all that in episode 23. And besides saltpeter, turpentine and pitch was eventually incorporated into these flammable weapons as well, alongside with charcoal. Now, arrows and early versions of hand grenades were created using these explosive elements. These grenades back then were more like jars made from clay and then tossed, and then when they broke open, they exploded. Now, Greek fire's ingredients are still a mystery to scientists today. I just want to give that right away. We don't know how to replicate this. We have no clue how it was made. Our best guess is that it was petroleum-based, because water, as I have already stated, would not extinguish this flammable liquid. However, we do know that it was invented underneath the rule of Constantine IV Pogonatus, who ruled from 668 to 685 CE. Not that long. I'd like to shift over to another article titled Mystery of History, What Was Greek Fire? Found at worldtreasures.org, dated November 9th, 2018. This flammable liquid was used to spray out of nozzles like a fire hose. Since this liquid fire was not put out by water, this made it ideal for naval battles. The Byzantine Empire was able to withstand many attacks from foreign aggressors over the centuries thanks to this weapon. More specifically, we can pinpoint who invented this incendiary device. I meant to say incendiary. I cannot speak. This flammable device. A man named Kallinikos, who is rumored to be the inventor of Greek fire. Supposedly, this was a person who was either an architect or an engineer from Greece. He was captured by Arabs and held prisoner. Somehow, he managed to escape and made his way to Constantinople, where he introduced the Byzantines to his flame-throwing weapon. He gave them this so they could have a defense from the same people who held Kallinikos prisoner. More of a revenge story, if you ask me, on the matter. But as we have learned, it worked. The Byzantines built specialized boats called dromen. These vessels were equipped with heating systems and specialized soldiers who were capable of creating and deploying the flammable liquid. Though they use this flammable liquid by shooting it through these pressurized nozzles equipped on the ships. These nozzles essentially acted as ancient flamethrowers. Another fact is that Greek fire was also equipped for the battlefield. With the same pressurized nozzle technology used in naval warfare, they created a similar device that could be equipped on the individual soldier who would be out on the open battlefield. This would have made their military just extremely deadly, and it's it's amazing to think of the ancients wielding flamethrowers. I had no idea this was a thing back then. So please put that into the next movie that's portraying ancient times. That would be pretty cool to see Roman soldiers out there with flamethrowers. I should also say, well, these were Byzantine soldiers, but you know what I mean. You could probably, it's Hollywood. You could throw this type archaic flamethrower on anything and be cool. Now, I should say that one soldier alone did not hold all the information to making Greek fire. There were multiple soldiers, each one knowing one ingredient or step to the process of making it. This ensured that if a Greek fire soldier was taken captive, the enemy would not be able to get the recipe out of them. Not one person knew the entire recipe except for the family of Kallinikos, the inventor. It was a highly guarded state secret. This is the reason that Greek fire was lost to history and we have no clue to how it was made. It was too well kept of a secret. But it is an extremely interesting part of human history. It was regarded as the deadliest weapon during its time. Greek fire's perpetual flame, when set on fire, is what made me connected to the highly flammable Netherrack. And that is where we are headed to right now. We are headed back into the realm, back into the Nether. Welcome back to the realm, my friends, where we are still in the Nether. And as I speak to you all, I am standing on the maroon volcanic rock-type material known as Netherrack, the subject for today's show. I will start this off with the minecraft.wiki article titled Netherrack. The history of Netherrack can be traced back to preview 1.2.0. On October 30th, 2010, otherwise known as the Halloween update, and when they added the Nether. Notch, or Marcus Persson, the creator originally called this block Netherstone, which I found to be quite fascinating, which honestly has, I think, a better ring to it than whatever Netherrack is supposed to be. A couple months later, on December 20th, it was officially dubbed Netherrack. Netherrack, according to minecraft.wiki, quote, Netherrack is a frail stone block found abundantly in the Nether and in blobs below ruined portals. Fire lit on top of Netherrack burns indefinitely. End quote. If you have been in the Nether, then you can surely attest to its softness. It is a very easy to break block, which is what I personally enjoy about it. You can collect a lot of these blocks in an extremely short amount of time with any pickaxe. But you must use a pickaxe, otherwise it will just disappear and not drop anything. Netherrack on its own is a very weak block that is not hardly blast resistant until made into nether brick. But I find it to be a great building material for makeshift forts and for decor. As it says in that quote there, it is very flammable when lit by a flint and steel, which is another characteristic I enjoy about this block. I like to put them around city perimeters and light the top on fire. It puts off light, which in turn aids in preventing mob generation. But also, it delivers a cool aesthetic appeal. It has a blast resistance of just 0.4, and the hardness is also 0.4. You can find Netherrack primarily in the Nether. I would say that Netherrack is the Nether. It makes up the floors, the walls, and the ceilings of this hell landscape. It makes up the majority of this dimension. But you can also find this around every ruined Nether portal found in the overworld. If you would like to know more about the Nether portals, go back to episode 24 titled Nether Portals and learn all about them there at Realm News. You can also find Netherrack as part of the Bastion's bridge in the Nether and in its treasure room. Warped Nylium or Crimson Nylium will transform the Netherrack if snow is placed on top of it as well. Let's move on to what you can craft with Netherrack. We are now in the fun part of it, where we can take the Netherrack and that we collected by risking our lives by entering the Nether itself and mining for it. There are a few things that we can craft with this. Let's start with the Netherite upgrade smithing template. This is obviously for the more advanced player. I have myself only a couple Netherite scraps and have never made Netherite tools, weapons, or armor yet. However, this will be useful to know. First, you will need these materials to craft the Netherite upgrade smithing template, which are 7 diamonds, 1 Netherite upgrade, which is only found in Bastion remnants. These can be duplicated using this recipe that I'm talking about right now, involving the 7 diamonds and the 1 Netherite upgrade. I'm teaching you how to copy this, so that way you don't just use the Netherite upgrade once. So you're going to take the 7 diamonds, the Netherite upgrade, which is found in Bastion remnants, and this is going to be used to upgrade diamond gear to Netherite gear. And you just need 1 block of Netherrack after those 2 items are found. And voila, you have duplicated your Netherite upgrade template. The next item you can craft is rib armor trim smithing templates. This is also an extremely costly item, but this will give you the option of putting some neat designs on trim, on your Netherite armor. In order to craft this, you will need 7 diamonds, 1 rib armor trim template only found in Nether fortresses, and 1 block of Netherrack. I know, super expensive, but now you know for when you have Netherrack armor. The third thing that you could do with all that Netherrack, which is actually very cheap, is that you could throw it into a furnace and smelt it. Yes, you can smelt these blocks into Nether brick, a very maroon colored brick. You could take these bricks and make them into Nether brick blocks. This only requires 4 Nether bricks to make 1 of these blocks. And these Nether brick blocks are very suitable for a building material in the Nether because they are immune to gas fireballs and fire in general. Also, there are some neat blocks that you can make using the stone cutter with these Nether brick blocks. You can make chiseled Nether brick blocks on the stone cutter, which will make a wither skeleton skull etching on each side of this block, which is pretty neat and awesome to incorporate into your builds. And you can also make staircases, slabs, and fencing out of these blocks and bricks. You can also make cracked Nether brick blocks by placing a Nether brick block into the furnace and smelting it. You can also add 2 Nether warts and 2 Nether bricks to make red Nether bricks, which are a brighter red color than the regular maroon color of the Nether brick. This can enrich your buildings in your Minecraft worlds. The past 3 to 4 months, I have really been getting into incorporating Nether brick blocks into my city structures. In fact, in my chief city called Seatown, I am doing a renovation of the old downtown by replacing the old drab cobblestone with Nether brick blocks. I am going for a darker theme. I have also been putting these blocks in my temples called reflection rooms. I plan on using Nether brick for the foreseeable future in my realm, especially since I am progressing further and further into the Nether. Netherrack. It is a peculiar block that can be found in the overworld around ruined Nether portals and literally all over the Nether. Netherrack is a soft and easily mined block that can be smelted and crafted into a myriad of objects that range from a simple brick to trimming your Netherite armor. Netherrack has a mystical property to it as well, being that it will not extinguish once lit on fire. This can be used as a light source, a beacon, or as a boundary, as boundary lines around your city, or cities, I should say. Netherrack is also flame retardant and can withstand blasts from gas if made into Nether brick blocks. These blocks make for a great building material while staying in the Nether. I hope that this gave you a bit of insight into what Netherrack can be used for. I know that at first glance while entering the Nether that appears to be a bit of a mundane block, but hopefully this brief episode outlined that there are in fact uses for this block. And I hope you all enjoyed the brief history of Greek fire as well. I thought that it was interesting to know that they had specialized soldiers and boats to deliver this dangerous weapon and flammable liquid, and that it was invented by a man named Kalanikos. Until next week, my friends, I wish you the best of luck in your adventure into the Nether. With that said, the Dark Lord signing out. The Dark Lord here. I just want to say that I appreciate you listening to my episodes covering Minecraft. If you enjoy the content of this show and want to show your appreciation for it, you can tell all your friends or other people close to you who love the game of Minecraft. Tell them what the show is all about. I am sure that they would love to hear it. And if they are anything into Minecraft, they would love it. Every follow is a huge help. Every rating and comment that you leave is also much appreciated. So click that follow button wherever you listen to your podcasts. Tell your friends all about Realm News, and let's build a vibrant Realm News community. You can find my email, Realm News Reddit page, and Twitter now X page, all at bio.link/realmnews. I plan on having a Realm News website in the near future, or at least that's the goal. I think that would make everything just a little bit more convenient for everybody. So stay tuned for that in the future. I'll see you all soon.